6 trillion cigarettes are smoked every year, enough to make a continuous chain from the Earth to the Sun and back, with enough left over for a couple of round trips to Mars. Cigarettes are being smoked at a breathtaking rate of about 34,000 miles per hour, 24 hours a day. Picture a never-ending shaft of cigarettes shooting out at 50 times the speed of sound, faster even than the rate at which satellites orbit the Earth. Since 1964, the American public has known that cigarette smoking causes cancer. What Americans generally don't recognize is that cigarettes are cancers of the earth. Americans are so dependent on automobiles and our constantly connected lifestyle that we say that we are addicted to fossil fuel consumption, the primary source of carbon emissions and the primary cause of climate change. Relative to smoking and cancer, the carbon-climate connection is almost breaking news. Many industries are making progress in reducing their carbon footprint. So with 40 million people still smoking cigarettes in the US, who is actually responsible for the footprint that tobacco is leaving on our planet? The tobacco industry's contribution to global warming starts well before a cigarette is smoked. There is a myth that the smoke and heat emitted from combusted cigarettes is tobacco's main contribution to global warming. This myth misrepresents the effect that smoking has on climate change and misses the fact that the tobacco industry deforests land for tobacco farming and uses fossil fuels to produce cigarettes, both of which contribute unnecessarily yet substantially to global warming. Each year, the tobacco industry cuts down 500,000 acres of forest, mostly in low and middle income countries, to harvest and dry out tobacco leaves which get transported by gas-guzzling trucks to factories powered entirely by fossil fuels and rolled into cigarettes for their addicted customer base, which is increasingly made up of people of color, the poor, and otherwise marginalized people. All in all, the tobacco industry is responsible for approximately 5% of greenhouse gas emissions, not to mention 1 in 5 deaths in the United States. For producing such a tiny product, the tobacco industry makes an enormous contribution to global climate change and human mortality. So, when it comes to tobacco, we are not yet out of the woods. Not even close. As a society, it is time we stop blaming people who smoke for their addictions, and instead start helping them. For the sake of our public's health and the future of our world, we must combat big tobacco by helping our family, friends, and fellow community members reject tobacco products. This Earth Day, Friday, April 22nd, join the Tobacco Action Group and students expressing environmental dedication in a campus-wide cigarette butt cleanup to show the University of Washington administration that we Huskies recognize the social and environmental injustices of tobacco and that a tobacco-free policy is the logical next step in our climate change mitigation efforts.